All right, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of Way Sauce. What are you scared of something? Way Sauce is the acronym.
Gotta love it.
For those of you that did not pass high school, just letting you.
Letting you remind
Letting you reminding you. Apparently I didn't either. Yeah.
And scene. So my back is absolutely killing me today. So that's fun.
He's David Wright.
Yeah, Brendan's got tattoos all on this one side.
Left side.
Yeah.
Got him on my legs.
Bell's palsy, just one side is just going to town. So today's movie for episode number 8. Wow, we're coming along here. Is
Oh.
wait a minute.
Yeah.
This is the same as above, so below.
Whoa, didn't see that coming,
He
did
didn't.
ya?
He didn't.
I didn't.
You didn't. He didn't.
I didn't.
So, this movie, shit, when did this come out? Do you know? We don't do research. 2014. Wow, that's a pretty old
Really?
movie. Yeah.
Damn.
Really?
That looks good.
So this movie came out in 2014. Oh, it has a 39 on Metascore.
Ooh.
I feel like, didn't we talk about that other movies that we like, the ones that were reviewed, have crap ratings?
What is that? That's out of 100?
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's really bad.
Really
It was a
bad.
good movie.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Okay.
Phil Skarsgård or whatever his
Phil?
name is. Whatever his name
Bill.
is. Phil
Phil.
Skarsgård. Phil Skarsgård.
So this movie came out in 2014, directed by John Eric Dowdle.
No.
D-O-W-D-L-E. How would you pronounce that? Oh, there it goes.
There
it is. Timothy
Another
Chalamet.
home run. Where? John Eric Dowdle.
Daddle.
Daddle.
You're going to dabble and daddle.
That'll do.
So this movie is Bartloo. Brendan and I have seen this movie quite a bit. It's probably like my third or fourth time seeing it. Fudge, I forgot my water.
You got coffee. All right, I'll keep the people entertained. I think I've seen this one like 5 or 6 times. Oh, it's in the car. Wow, he's going a long way. All right. Well, I think I've seen this movie about 5 or 6 times. Yeah, you didn't close the door. 5 or 6 times. Each time just gets better and better. I don't know if that's true, but it's a pretty decent movie. I like it. You know, it's got its jump scares and evil stuff going on. Another movie about dealing with your traumas. You know, that's a very common theme in horror movies: dealing with your traumas. Like, for example, Sam had to deal with the trauma of not forgetting his water.
Forgetting my water bottle. How am I going to deal with that?
Now it's warm, and there's
It
a
is
lot of
warm.
trauma going on.
That's how you're supposed to deal with it. So, hopefully Brendan was keeping y'all entertained.
In As Above, So Below, there would just be a giant water bottle that pops up.
Probably. Wait a minute. This is like when I was a kid.
And I forgot it in the car.
What, are you kidding me? And Sebastian Maniscalco goes, what's with the water bottle?
What's with the water bottle?
You kidding me? A fucking water bottle?
$2,000 to get into Disney? Crazy?
I'm a millionaire. And still.
They can't
That's
even ride half the
crazy.
rides. Can I get a discount or something? Goodness.
I said to my dad, Dad, you believe this? What? What the fuck are they doing in there? So crazy sounds. All right, so 2014, directed by Dadler.
Dadler. Diddler the Dadler.
So this is a found footage type film. If you ever seen the Blair Witch Project, it looks just...
Which I have.
Which he has.
Have you seen it?
No, remember that one time we were going to play it and your face, you go...
I had a burp coming out at the same time.
We were gonna watch this movie, and like immediately, I just felt weird. Had like this anxiety come over me where I was like, oh, I can't watch it because it was just like they started. She's like moving. We're in the woods. I'm like, what the fuck is
Actually,
this?
I don't think I saw the original one. I think I've only seen the newest one.
Oh, there's a new one. No, the first one's in '99, I believe.
Yeah. I've seen the one in 1889.
Yeah. What a time. So this is a found footage movie. So it's basically, it's like me and you went out to the catacombs and filmed it with shaky cam. Yeah, hey, it's Way Sauce in the catacombs. So
Hey guys, I'm Corey. Subscribe. We're in the catacombs tonight.
yeah. Ooh, it changes color. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So these movies, I don't know how. I mean, I feel like every person would be receptive in a different way to this. It's kind of like a merry-go-round. Like, just maybe it's like merry-go-round. I don't know. But it's like that type of feeling where, I don't know. This one's, I didn't really get that. At some points, you feel uneasy. You got a nice pimple right there,
Oh, yeah,
boy.
yeah,
That thing's screaming at me. Brendan's like, yeah,
What'd you say?
I fucking know. Merry-go-round.
Merry-go-round. Yeah, yeah.
Merry-go-round. All right. So the movie starts
Wait,
out
you don't feel uneasy? Is what you're saying? Is that what you said?
as much as the Blair Witch Project, and I watched that for 2 minutes.
I feel uneasy when they go, like, when it starts getting towards the end.
Well, yeah, obviously.
That's creepy.
But like, even when he's like that one character's going through that really scary part, and he's like, I can't make it, and they're like throwing the camera back, pretty much like back and forth.
Oh, like when he gets stuck, kind of?
Yeah.
I don't feel like scary uneasy, but I feel like, oh my god, if I was stuck in that, what did you just give me like a
Because
dirty
your
look?
leg was like right
You
nearby.
just gave me such a dirty look,
No, I looked.
as in sexual. Like shit, look at your leg.
Oh, as it's. It's because we're wearing shorts. This is the first podcast we're wearing
Our
shorts.
legs, our leg hair is just interlocked.
Your stupid tattoo just it hit his beak at me. Yeah, that part is definitely uneasy. Yeah, because you put yourself in that situation.
I feel more like oh damn, like if I'm watching a video and there's someone's like walking on the edge of a cliff or some shit, like, and I'm like, like that's the way I was feeling when I saw that.
or when those people go into like the really like shallow caves or something.
Yeah.
Like video you showed me today.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I just feel like, oh my god, like I'd start freaking out, but not because I think there's a ghost behind me or a demon
Oh
or
yeah.
I'm in hell.
Oh, so that's interesting because this has both. It's like really small places and there's freaks in here.
Yeah.
And you don't know. It's like
That's
the
why I like
supernatural.
the exploration aspect of it.
Mm.
It's like a national treasure, but haunted.
Yeah. Nick Cage.
Nicolas Cage just pops out.
He also just played Renfield in the new movie Renfield. He's a character in Dracula, so he's already going down the horror aspect. He'll do
yeah.
anything.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right. He's that vampire.
Sure is.
I was thinking he was the whale, but that's Brendan Fraser.
Or Brendan Cashman. Nah, he's good now.
I used to be.
Was.
Was.
All right, so the movie starts out with our main character Scarlet, who is
She's in Iran.
is that where? Okay, so it starts off with the main character and another man running around this underground place. So it's like one of those movies where it starts out with something, crazy
Right off the bat.
And yeah, so you said they were in Iran. I knew it was like the Middle East.
I think at one point they mentioned Iran or something.
But like a bunch of shenanigans is going on, and they find like this weird writing, and then all of a sudden she sees a man hanging. And you're like, oh my god, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then they get caved in, and then there's
didn't-
like some air raid shit outside.
Yeah, I didn't like that part. I didn't like that part when you see the hanging guy because it makes the movie a little confusing because it's like, wait, we're starting off with a haunted place already, but then they don't even end up there.
Yeah, and he's not even really there too.
Yeah, so
There's 2 moments where her dad is hanging in front of her in a cave, and he's not really there.
yeah, I don't mind the towards the end because the catacombs are like haunted or as above so below.
And you don't get out until you're like you embrace what happened.
But like, what the hell is he's in Iran as well? I didn't like that.
you don't like that.
And there's a
That's
war
why
going
it's a
on.
39 out of 100 on Metascore.
Yeah.
And there's a war going on outside. Yeah, I mean, I don't really understand the significance of that.
I think it's they were trying to just like show us like, oh, she's an explorer and an adventurer, but then they throw in this random guy hanging, and you're like, what the fuck? And then because when the first time I saw it, I was like, is that a prisoner of war? Like, who is that guy?
Yeah, but why is he white in like a suit?
Yeah, because there's no explanation.
Right.
Like by the way, your father passed away or something.
She looks at the camera. It's my dad. So anybody who's confused.
All right, back to the movie.
But you almost like want them to say that because you're like, all right, what the hell is this?
Yeah, exactly.
It does annoy me in movies where it's just like so confusing. Like in Lamb, even when like we see that the lamb has human legs, you're like, sorry if you haven't seen it. Spoiler alert. You're just like, and they kind of just go along with it. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, yeah.
What are y'all doing?
No one bats an eye there.
I always want, it's like you almost want somebody in the movie, like I just said, to just be like, okay, so this is what's happening. And they just, so he has legs and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, okay. And everybody's in the theater. Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Yeah. Janine, did you hear? Yeah. Okay. Well, why don't you get off your fucking phone? Okay. Jesus.
It's always Janine, too.
And Bailey.
Yeah, and Bailey. Oh, my God. Shout out Bailey Thompson. We're going to roast him from now on.
The light is in the dark theater.
Oh, my God, dude.
What are you doing?
There's so many movies that I could name that he's done that with. It's fucking crazy.
Or just straight up talked with him and Jesse.
Oh, my God.
You guys know.
I remember there was one movie we were watching.
We watched Midsummer.
But there was one where like I was in theaters with him and I just see him the whole time like looking at his phone and then something crazy happens and he goes, "What? What happened?" And I go, "I'm not gonna sit here and explain it to you. First off, no one wants to hear me talk.
Yeah, you don't want to talk.
Second off, watch it.
Put your peepers to the screen." So then we realize that the guy says her dad was crazy. They wind up dead.
Mm-hmm.
They all wind up dead, and you're like, oh, I don't know what's going on.
He goes like, "Oh, you remind me so much of your father, but don't forget, your father was driven to insanity."
Yeah.
And she's like,
shut up. I'm going in that cave, whether you like it or not.
"Yeah, you son of a bitch."
And that's like, that's definitely a character trait of Scarlett that we see. Is just like, no one's going to stop her from what she wants to achieve. So the next scene after that, so it starts off crazy, and then we see Scarlett being interviewed by a documentary guy, and she discusses like her really impressive life. She speaks multiple languages. She's a black belt in Krav Maga, and how her dad, I wrote ho, but I meant to write how, and how her dad, her dad taught her about about the Philosopher's Stone, right? That's what it's called?
Yep, that's exactly
that leads to eternal life. Again, we hear about her dad being mentally unstable by the interviewer. He like mentions that. And she's like, "Thanks for mentioning that. I really like thinking about my mentally unstable father." She doesn't say that, but you can kind of see it on her face.
Doesn't she also have like 3 degrees or something crazy? She says
3 degrees? She's freezing?
Yeah, she's 3 degrees all the time. She's cold-blooded.
Scarlett, you all right?
She's an iguana. She falls out of trees when she gets too cold.
You were telling me that at the bar.
Did you know in Florida, dude? Like, there's iguanas that fall out of the tree.
And they just fall, and people are like, whoa.
Whoa, dude.
Hey, Kyle.
Hey. Oh, also, we forgot to mention when she was in Iran, and she's Iraning from...
Iran to Iraq to get some turkey.
That was good.
I was Russian to Iran to get some turkey.
We forgot to mention also she, like, finds some, like, bull that has, like, carvings on it that I think help her.
By the way, there are like, what's good about like our dynamic is that Brendan is watching the movie the whole time. His like, I have pages of notes because I write every scene. He has like 6, which is great because as you can tell, he's talking about some bull. I don't know if I can remember.
And not bullshit. I'm talking about some real stuff. They remember they find that bull. They have carvings. It has carvings all over it, and she takes pictures of it. And I think it has a significance to the Philosopher's Stone.
Okay.
Because it has like stuff written on it, but you can't translate it because she ain't know that language. She got a lot of degrees, but she ain't know that language.
So I think she said 3 or something languages. So yeah, she's being interviewed, and we're like, okay, this is going to be the main character. And she looks like she's an explorer and wants to do some good stuff. Her dad died, and she just wants to. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
What does the cameraman even say to her?
I don't know. I think he's just like. I honestly, he might have been like, "Your dad was pretty unstable, huh?" And he's already dead by suicide. So, which is crazy.
So then, that's
Jeff, he was. Thanks for bringing that up. Wasn't your ex-wife a whore? That's what I would have said. I don't know.
But like that part should have came before she went to Iran, even though I guess that's not how the story happened, because that would have helped us maybe infer that like, oh, maybe that hanging guy was an imagination of her like traumas coming out or some shit, like
yeah.
Instead, we just see this guy in the white coat just hanging there. You're like, huh?
It's so out of place.
Yeah,
it's so weird. You're like, she's like walking. Whoa!
And you hear sirens in the background. And
wild scene.
And it's like, huh? There's also a guy hanging from there. That's interesting. Hope she gets out of there alive.
Okay, so yeah, that is a good point. So then we see Scarlett meet her friend George, and I remember this guy from a show called Superstore, a really funny show. He's in that, but that came after he was in this movie. So he's a decent looking guy.
George is the guy in the clock.
The clock.
The clock.
Oh, he's He's the one that like has to like. He's the
It's like fixing an old clock. Or
Yeah, he's
something.
like the second main guy in the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah,
And
George.
Georgie boy.
George of the Jungle.
Um,
What is he doing? Did he even have permission to be
you
up
know
there?
what's funny is that like it's because to me this movie, and I mean it's hard not to feel this way because it's like it's not like found footage. I don't even know what that really means, but it's like shaky cam. It's first person POV or whatever it is. It just feels rushed, and you're just like you go from scene to scene to scene, and it's just like him fixing the clock, and she's like, "You need to decipher this." Blah blah blah. Oh, they know each other, and it's just like, hold on, what? And I'm like trying to write this all down, and to me, it seems fast paced.
The only thing
he's fixing a clock or something. Is he like doing this freelance?
Yeah, I don't know. That was so weird.
Did the Turkish government say
exactly
you got to do this?
And like he's like, "Oh, are you guys ready to hear this clock go off for the first time in 2,000 years?" They're like, "Yeah."
The last one to do it was Jesus Christ.
All right, George.
Hooray!
Hooray, George!
Dave Chappelle.
All of
Hooray!
Turkey, bow down to me.
Where's my turkey? So yeah, so they start talking. That you see that Scarlett and George know each other, and he says to the interviewer that he ended up in a Turkish prison the last time he was with Scarlett. He's like, "Yeah, I don't hang around her too long. I ended up in a Turkish prison."
Yeah, he almost doesn't want to be around her whatsoever. Actually, even though she seems like a cool person, and she's very ambitious, but she's
too ambitious.
We find out that like her ambitions kind of make her a little bit selfish in a way.
Yeah.
She drags everybody along on her adventures, even though they're like, you know what? I'm not really feeling this.
Me personally, I kind of found her annoying because it's just like there are people that it's like don't take no for an answer.
Yeah,
but she is just like, ving, like she won't stop. So like I wrote down like you could tell that she's daring and won't stop.
I feel like she would like leave me behind if I was just like
she wouldn't give a fuck if you were her brother of 20 years.
Yeah, I'd be like, I can't do this. I mean, we're in hell right now. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Did you forget that part?
Did you forget that we're in hell at this part in the movie? Oh, right. But we got to keep going.
I got to find a stone.
I got to find this stone my dad was telling me about.
You know what's funny is that like so we know that it leads to eternal life. I don't think she cares about that part. She cares because it has to do with her dad, probably.
Yeah.
Well, it's similar to. That's why I wrote a lot of this is similar to National Treasure because it's like the explorer, adventurous aspect to it. Because like he does it to keep. he does it to keep the Gates name like from being tarnished or something like that.
Okay,
he doesn't really care about the money more per se, which is I guess like a little more moral and wholesome. But you're gonna take it anyway.
I haven't seen that movie in so long, but it's
so
a good one.
It's just such a classic.
That and I like Da Vinci Code a lot too. That's a good one.
With Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Haven't seen that?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Those are really good too.
Mm.
They're kind of similar, where it's like these scripted codes and shit everywhere.
And shit.
I was actually at the in Italy. I was at one of the fountains. So one of the bad guys gets thrown in or something.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's the bad guy.
Wow, they kept him here.
Drowning his ass.
He just sticks his head out of the water. Hey guys.
How's it going? So she needs George to translate a stone because her dad thinks that there's a code in the stone. So this is probably how they became friends because he can translate certain weird languages, even though she, can already speak like a few languages.
Yeah.
We see Scarlett and George discussing the contents of the stone, and that's when they realize that they need to go to the catacombs. So like I feel like it just goes like quick.
Oh yeah, because then all of a sudden they're like, wait. But the eagle above the land equals this, and then these coordinates of that.
Of the Slurpee.
And that. Catacombs. That's what it is.
You're so smart.
And the guy filming is like, what about me?
I'm the only one. I always just end up filming. I never get any action. So they realize they got to go to the catacombs. The next scene is them two looking over this huge map of the catacombs. Because I don't think there's a GPS of the catacombs, and they're trying to figure out a way to navigate it to find this illustrious philosopher's stone. Next scene is Scarlett and Benji, who is the name of the cameraman that we learn his name, taking a tour of the beginning of the catacombs. So like where most normal people go, they do a little tour. I wouldn't even do that, to be honest. You probably would.
Oh, I would. 100%.
I can't. I just know that I wouldn't even, when we were going on vacation, the only ones that wouldn't go parasailing, maybe my aunt, but it was just me and my dad. Like, we don't do that type of stuff.
I don't.
Underground or above. As above, so below. That's the title.
I don't know if I could do parasailing. I'm kind of in the middle. Like, there are some things that I'll be like, yeah, let's do it. And then there's some things where I'm just like, anything in the air, it's a 90% chance I'm not going to do it.
Well, it's like, I'd rather jump out of a plane with a parachute than parasail. Because parasailing, you're holding on, you're dangling your feet, and there's like a little, like,
I don't want to do either
string,
one.
And you're above the ocean. You fall, you're dead.
Yeah, I don't want to do either one, I don't think.
Okay. So
would you go into a cave? Like a guided tour in a cave?
I probably not.
I've done that. It's sick. Me and my mom were upstate and we did one.
You know what's funny is when we were in Amsterdam, I got weirded out when we went into the dungeon.
Oh, with those actors, that thing?
And they roasted Bailey.
That was the best. Shout out Bailey again.
Shout out Bales.
I think I kept screaming, "Burn the witch!" Or was he in court?
Well, he was in court, and the guy was saying, "Where are you from? New York?" And they were like, "Boo!" or something like that because we were American.
Nuts. And then they brought Chris up on stage, and they were
the two best
they made him
people to
bend
do it.
over and stuff.
I don't remember that part.
They made him get out of the chair, and they were like, "So these were some of the torture devices they used to use," and they made Chris get up and bend over. And I was like, "Get him!"
Screw with him. So even being in that kind of weirded me out. So yeah, I'm not really maybe it's some sort of claustrophobia, but who knows? So yeah, we see Scarlett have no fear about going deep into the catacombs. It's just wild to me. She's already, when she's taking the tour, she's like, "Oh yeah, I can't wait to just go all the way in."
Yeah.
And then what a really cool part is another supernatural part. So we can kind of say supernatural was with her dad, hanging in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Then we see the guy on the rock.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we see this guy on the rock, and he's just like, "Yeah, you got to talk to this guy if you want to get it deep into the catacombs because you can't just go in." A few seconds later, the guy's gone. You're like, okay,
okay, thanks. And then they turn around, they look back, and he's gone.
But then it's so funny. And then there's the next scene. They don't go, Where's that guy Frank?
Yeah. So the only thing that I could assume is that he actually was friends with that guy, and they lost him in the caves or something, and then he died, and then he's That's because why? Yeah, because why else would he know exactly the guy?
This is his daily routine. He's waiting for people to go in. He sits on the thing. You got to talk to what's the guy's name?
Zed.
You got to talk to Papillon.
Oh, Papillon.
Oh, thanks. Runs away. Oh, all right. Did my deed
every
for the
day.
day.
He's like, God, I hope someone asks about how to get deeper into these catacombs.
I've lost 50 pounds running back and forth all damn day. Every tour that comes in. So yeah, that guy, you're just like, okay, this guy's gone. So yeah, it maybe will symbolize a spirit.
Because also with Papillon, I feel like he kind of has that little bit of what's the girl's name? Scarlett's thing, where he's just like an adventurer. Because they left that one guy in there too, which we eventually come across, and then I'm gonna assume that maybe this guy died with them as well. So he might not be the best tour guide, and that he claims to.
Wait
be.
a minute, say that again. You don't think that guy's real?
No, I think he's a ghost.
Papillon?
No, not Papillon.
Oh, the man on the
man on the rock, and then the guy that they eventually meet later on, and he has the goggles on top of his
You think
head.
it's the same guy?
No.
You think they left two people?
What?
I don't know what you're saying.
I'm saying that I don't think Papillon is that great of a tour guide, or maybe even a friend, and he also maybe has that ambitious thing that, what's her name again?
Scarlett. Stop whipping yourself.
Scarlett.
Bad boy.
Has that same thing that Scarlett has, where he's just gonna keep going, because that guy that was sitting on the rock, I think, used to be their friend, but died on an excursion through the catacombs. And then also we come across the other guy that we meet later on in the movie, who they left behind, and he even says you never even came to look for me.
Yeah, I'd probably react the same way.
Yeah,
you son of a bitch.
So that's what I was getting at.
So then they go into a nightclub to find this fella that will take him deep into the catacombs that the
Papillon.
mysterious guy said. And then like a weird girl, all in white with like black makeup, walks past them, and like the camera just goes on them, and then you're like, well, she's significant somehow. And you're like,
that's out of place too.
maybe I think it's because, well, think of it as be in the shoes of the cameraman. Sees a weird person, he's going to turn quick.
Yeah, I guess, but
like,
it does seem a little random because I mean we see her later, but also she like doesn't do anything to them or anything. We see her later, if you
I think
remember.
it just shows like that.
The catacombs are calling.
That weird witch people also go clubbing.
They do their seances and also go to the club.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. I don't know. Yeah, the beginning of this movie, it's kind of just, it's all over the place.
Because it's not like they go into the catacombs and she's like, "You've arrived."
Also, I was in Club Med.
That DJ was something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, you've arrived.
How'd you like see Mauricio? It was all right. He didn't play Disturbia, my favorite Rihanna song.
You didn't play Disturbia or Party in the USA for the 5th time,
So
or
I threw-
Pitbull,
I
or
threw a fucking tomato in his fat fucking head. So yeah, and then we see this weird girl walk by, and you're like, okay, so that was kind of weird. And then they just continue into the club. And I don't know, you're like, was that girl like really there or something?
Is she on drugs?
Yeah, like, who is this girl? Like, there's so many theories of like all, I don't know, the entire movie at this point.
Because if I was the cameraman and I saw a girl like that walk out of the club, I'd be like, "Damn, what is she on? Holy shit!"
Yeah, what's going on here?
Because they're in a nightclub. Like
They also are in France.
Drugs are so relevant in a nightclub. You know, this girl walks out, not blinking, just staring at me.
Maybe because she's like, why is there a guy with a camera here? Why am I all in white?
How did he even get the camera into the nightclub? They don't let me even bring a photographer into half the nightclubs I DJ at. They always give me a hard time.
Yeah. Hip hop. But I want to play some EDM hip hop.
Hip hop. Groceries. So, why do you think you're eligible for this job? Groceries.
That is so. That is so dumb.
Do you have any background experience?
funny.
Groceries. And you're hired. Groceries. That's from Family Guy.
That is so good.
That's such a
I
funny
remember
one.
that.
Lois is slept on too. She's funny.
Oh, my
She's
dude.
low-key funny.
That's like Francine in American Dad is so goddamn
yeah,
funny.
yeah, yeah.
She is hilarious.
Now the Marines. Those are
The
the
ones you had to fuck. Oh man, that's funny. So they go to this guy Papillon, and of course he's like sort of towards the side of the bar or the club, and there's like loud music, and there's like people around him, and you could just tell he thinks he's the shit.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
there's
yeah,
like the
yeah.
way he's talking. He's like, he can't go in the catacombs without me. Or it's just like,
What do you think I am, a tour guide?
where's my croissant?
What, you think I am a tour guide? Do I look like a tour guide? Is what? What's her face? Do I look like a tourist? Is what?
Do I sound like a motherfucking slave?
What's her name again?
Scarlett.
Scarlett Johansson.
Do you know what that's from? Django.
Yeah, Django. Yeah.
Do I sound like a motherfucking slave? No, you don't. So then, yeah, they're talking to him.
We believe there's a big treasure behind this part of the catacombs. You're like, yeah? Kiss my ass, you American.
Groceries. Kiss my ass. All you do is start wars. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but so yeah, and they're like, can you take us into the catacombs? And he says, yeah, all that stuff. And then she persuades him to go to a secret tunnel that's designed to be invisible. Plus, she's like, you can. This is where I was talking about before. Like, she doesn't really care about the treasure because she's like, I don't fucking care. You can take it. I don't want it.
Yeah,
That's not
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
here for. And he's like, money, you say?
We take 50% when we find this treasure.
No, Papillon, take 90. She's stupid girl.
Oh, yeah. She said something like, you can take the whole thing, and then George, is it?
Yeah.
He goes,
Yeah.
well.
He's like, if I'm going to go into this insane cave with you and maybe not come out alive, maybe I'll take some of the treasure. Maybe not all of it. That's such a guy response.
Yeah.
So then, so you can tell like she doesn't care about money. So then the next scene is like them in the van. And to me, I wrote down the movie seems rushed at this point.
Yeah.
So it's the next day during the day, and they're in Papillon's truck and his crew. Benji starts to ask them about what dangers could be down there. There's like some comedic parts in this because like one guy starts doing like a Robert De Niro impression. Remember that?
Yeah.
And then they start like beatboxing, and it's just like, okay, yeah, it's common light before the storm.
Yeah,
because this is like the only like kind of like funny part about it. But Benji's asking them about certain things, and they're like, let's not talk about that.
Yeah.
So you already know like this is a bad thing to do.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that Scarlett, this one girl, gets everybody to go along with it.
Yeah. And
Well, which is funny because it's like, come along with this so I could, I don't know, make sense of my dad's death or something like that.
yeah, which is selfish.
Exactly.
It's very low key selfish. Even though she seems like a cool girl, and it's kind of like, all in good, not in good fun, but like she means well by it. But she just she gets blinded by like what she wants.
Yeah,
just what she wants.
But she gets them to do it. Like she tempts them with the treasure.
Yeah,
the possibility of a treasure. It's similar to National Treasure because Riley is kind of like George, where he's like. Nicolas Cage or Ben uses Riley for like the tech stuff and to like break in and like all that stuff. She uses George to like translate it, and now she's using other people, and they're like they're Riley's kind of like comedic relief.
Hates it too, right? Like the whole time he's kind of like
yeah, like you can't steal the Declaration of Independence. I'm gonna do it.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, this is the Declaration of Independence.
Watch me do it.
The funniest line in that movie, he's like, do you know what the preservation room is for? And he goes, delicious jams and jellies. Reserves. So then there's like a group of 6 of them that go into the catacombs, and like already I feel claustrophobic. And then out of nowhere, like you see the camera go this way, and you just see a policeman within like 2 seconds just like tackle him. Who do they tackle? Papillon. It was so loud, it made it like really scary.
And you kind of hear him coming and see him from a distance, like just this man sprinting.
And it makes it scary with the one camera angle.
Yeah. Because you just hear, and then he just like tackles him. You're like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
But then, obviously you're not allowed in this area that they're supposed to be in. So the police.
One guy, of course.
Yeah.
So it's just like, all right.
It's not a group of police.
Right. So they're going to just get away easily.
And then Papillon has smoke grenades. Was he in the war?
Yeah. What the?
He's just like, smoke grenades.
Here you go. He's
Try
prepared
to find
for
us now, you stupid police.
Well, there are people in the episode of Sam and Colby. It's a horror YouTube channel, and they go to the catacombs, but they go in Ukraine, and like they pay a guy to take them into the cave. At one point, the guy goes, "You know, if I just left you, you wouldn't know how to get out of here, and you would die, right?"
Jesus,
isn't that? You should watch that episode. It's crazy. But apparently, these are bigger than the Paris catacombs, which is what they're in our movie here.
Ukrainian catacombs.
Yeah.
Did they? Well,
they went. I think like right before the war.
Well, were the catacombs made for the bubonic plague because they were running out of space to bury people, so they put them underground?
It's possible. I know nothing about it.
I think that's maybe what it is.
Well, that's why there's like so many skulls.
I mean, all of Europe like suffered from it, so it makes sense. There's some in Ukraine.
You're telling me that they built that just to put like all the? But why would they build a whole tunnel? Maybe people expanded over the years. I think it was something to do with World War II.
Maybe it's a combination of things. I don't know. Or maybe they started it because of the bubonic plague, and then they added to it during World War.
That damn song. Maybe. Okay.
I feel like it might be because they didn't want to keep the bodies on the street. I don't know.
Interesting. So we then learn that George's little brother drowned in a cave. Maybe that's why he was like so hesitant to go before.
Yeah, so he's kind of like scared of caves and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But
do you think he's doing this because like I don't know how much. I don't care. It's the hottest girl in the world. I ain't going down there. I mean, like I'm pretty sure that I guess they love each other.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Probably later in the movie because he was at the end. He's like, "This is the best time of my life" or something like that.
Yeah,
so
he said, "Actually, that time," but they think they're gonna die, and they're like, "Actually, that time in Turkey was the best time of my life."
You're like, "Boo!"
Me too.
They don't kiss.
And they don't kiss.
You're like, lame.
Hey guys, don't forget we're in hell right now.
Yeah, right. So,
late 18th century, when major public health problems tied to the city's cemeteries led to a decision to transfer their contents to an underground site.
That's it. So then we see Scarlett talking calmly and like thanking George to try to like calm him down and show how like affectionate she is and how like appreciative she is. She's like, "Thank you for coming on this." Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But that's still selfish, I think, or just like a weird thing to do.
But he's still like, yeah, whatever,
Yeah.
bitch.
Thank you for coming. Like, it's, oh my God. But in her mind, it's like, you better fucking come with me. You better get on this.
But not leave me. You're the only one that knows this damn language.
So then there's so much graffiti on the walls. And then really early on, we see like this weird cult of like these naked women, and they're like these weird red lights.
They're have like white powder all over their face with like red stuff too.
I wonder if people like went into this movie thinking it's just like an adventure movie or something, and they're like, "What the fuck is that?"
Maybe, yeah, could be.
But it's interesting because you're like, it makes sense that like a cult would go in there because it's like so secretive.
Yeah.
But they're not really that far in
Yeah.
because like they probably like have to go get dinner and things like that afterwards.
They're not actually looking for the what is the stone?
The Philosopher's Stone.
Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah. So then this one girl is the girl that we see at the club in white, and you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
She looks at the camera, but then that's it. We never see her again.
Yep,
That's it.
just a random character.
Yeah. I guess it's just,
To add like creepiness to the movie.
I guess, or to just be like, ooh, the catacombs are always calling. Also, going back to maybe people thinking it was just an adventure movie. Also, the poster that was put out is just the Eiffel Tower, like up and then upside down as well.
Yeah, isn't there like skulls around it?
Maybe,
I
yeah.
feel like it's red.
So, yeah, it's all red, and then
It's
there's
deceiving.
the Eiffel Tower. It's like,
Well, Hereditary coming attractions is deceiving. Well, we know
Midsummer.
it's a horror. We know it's a horror movie, but yeah, with this one, you could be like,
Midsummer's beautiful daylight.
yeah, really, which makes it more horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't even know if, I mean, you could watch that movie the first time and be like, oh, that's a weird girl. And you'd be like, you might have forgotten that's like, how are you supposed to know that that's a girl? We see her for literally 2 seconds.
Yeah.
1 second at the club, 1 second here.
And she looks at the camera both times, I'm pretty sure.
She's like, wait.
And they're all singing.
Wait a minute. I saw him at the club. Got him.
Oh,
Throw stones at him. So yeah, there's a weird cult.
Philosopher's Stones.
And then Papillon goes, there's always weird stuff down here. I'm not good at French accents.
There's always weird stuff going on down here.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know if I knew that was her. So then we see Papillon arguing with Scarlet about which route to take. They go with him because he's more experienced, and they're kind of like arguing back and forth. He's like, you can't go that way. There's horrible things that way. And they're like, we lost a friend a couple of years ago. Like, we came in here and like he never came back. We lost him.
Yeah, doesn't he also say like I've traveled everywhere in the catacombs. You think that map tells you
I'm the
where,
best.
where there is water and where the caves have plugged in? No, it is on me.
But it's an argument because Scarlet's like, this is way quicker.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I've been down there. It's crazy shit.
Yeah.
And she's still like, whatever.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, I don't care. You know, I got to avenge my dad's death or whatever the hell she's going there for. So then they have that little argument. And then this is the tight squeeze. And Benji is like stuck and panicking. They're like, they're trying to go through this. Like, there's literally like this little much of a crevice.
I can't move. I'm freaking out.
I can't. It's like, well,
Can you move back a little bit? I can't.
yes, you can. I fucking can't.
You gotta breathe. Breathe with me.
I mean, she is helping because
Yeah.
it's like you can't panic in this scenario.
And then all of a sudden it starts caving in too.
And then there's like a weird like cult lady singing in the background. Was it the?
It's that group. Yeah,
It's the group, yeah.
And she's like, "Oh my god, are they singing still? Shut the fuck up."
Maybe they're like, honestly, like because we didn't see them behind him. Maybe they were just like, oh, they were all standing behind him, like waiting for a sacrifice or something like that. That's pretty creepy.
Ooh,
As above, so below. Part 2.
I like that.
Part 2. So then, yeah. So that was a pretty tense situation.
Everyone gets out unscathed though.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
But now they are on the other side, trapped.
And then they realize that they've gone in a circle. They're really confused, and they like kicked. They're like, "What the hell? Like we were just here!" And then they just like smash the rocks. They just kick it down, and it's like really an intense scene.
There's this opening that they wanted to go down originally, but then they said no, and then it was boarded up, stoned up, and then they're like, well, where else are we gonna go? Let's try it out.
Yeah, and then they start to become like suspicious of Papillon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we did meet him at a nightclub,
Yeah.
and the guy who told us to talk to him disappeared. They didn't say this, but they're probably thinking it, or at least we are. And then we see his name on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was I guess he puts a logo everywhere that he sprays, or everywhere that he sprays.
He's a
everywhere that
skunk.
he's been, he puts like a P, I guess.
I mark my territory. And then yeah, and this movie's so odd. And then all of a sudden you hear a telephone ring, like a 1950s telephone, and you're like, okay, interesting. And then they like start going towards the phone, and then because there's a phone ringing, and then they see a piano, and George realizes, he's like, wait a minute, this is the piano I had in my living room. Huh, funny. I think the B flat didn't, or whatever he says, didn't have the note. Bing, bing, dang, dang.
He turns around and goes,
What's going on here?
What's going on? Help.
So we realize that it's his piano from when he was a little kid, and there's one note that was like it
was broken, I think.
Yeah, just
the string
didn't make the sound.
Was loose from shit.
That's funny. Yeah, and this one note, ding, ding, dang.
What's going on?
What the hell's going on here? You want to explain this?
You want to explain?
Also, pick up that damn phone. And then so that certain key doesn't work. Things start to get creepy. And you're like, okay, so how is there a piano from his childhood down here?
Yeah.
Like, there's some supernatural shit going on here. But it's funny because the cult is real, or we assume it's real. Well, they all see it. So you're like, that's creepy in itself, but now there are supernatural things that are creepy.
Yeah. The piano, and how the hell is their phone down here?
Right. So then Scarlett runs to the phone, and then she picks it up. And then...
What do we hear? We just hear...
We hear her dad.
Oh, yeah. We don't know it's her dad, but later on... in the movie, she says, that was my dad on the phone, and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, he called me, and I didn't miss the phone, or I missed the call, or something like that. And I wrote down, why won't you talk to me, is what you hear the voice say. It's a creepy voice on the phone. So we see our two main characters, Scarlett and George, something in
the... That's so dark.
Oh,
you really think about it?
Oh,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
If you dive into it, it's really creepy.
Like, he called her right before he killed himself, and she didn't answer. God.
Yeah, that'll weigh on you.
No one.
I don't think she did it on purpose.
No, I don't think so either. But
maybe she was like out or whatever. So, I'll call him later.
Yeah.
Oof. I don't know. Maybe if your dad's mentally unstable, pick up the phone. But you can't. Literally. You can't judge somebody for that.
Or maybe like the whole time he was just like so like needy or something. And after a while, I mean, it does get taxing on someone else, you know. Yeah. So maybe that time she was like, oh, I can't do it today, and then next day, boop, done.
And now he's in the Iranian cave.
Now he's in an Iranian cave.
So then, yeah, we see the two main characters. Something in their past appears at the same time. And I think George says something about his brother, too, with the piano. So it's like two really personal moments for them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because it pretty much happens in the middle of the catacombs, where you're just like, the only way to go is forward.
Yeah.
And that's probably... significant to life is just move forward, don't look back.
Yeah, you can't be looking at the past.
Yeah, you can if you just to learn from it.
Yeah,
I think is a good.
Good
thing.
You look at it and then you like it.
Do that again, you're dead. Oh, my back.
You look at it, you acknowledge it, you realize it's made you who you are, and then you keep going. And then after that, but you don't dwell on it. You don't keep saying like, oh, woe is me.
Yeah, there's no point in just sitting.
Which all of them have been doing up until that point.
Sitting there like sulking and not,
or at least
moving
we can
forward.
infer that they've been doing that.
Very
and
true.
That's why the catacombs have called them there, and that's why that lady.
You guys coming yet?
Imagine they picked up the phone and they were like, "Hello, I'm looking for Jeff. Is there a Jeff down there?"
He usually runs off of the catacombs at this time of the month. So then. All of a sudden, they see a man come out of the corner. You're like, okay, so there's other people down here besides a cult. So we see the man. He's like, he comes out from the corner, and then we realize it's the guy that they thought was dead for a couple of years that they left down there. And he's got like these weird like goggles that you put on if you're doing like welding or something like that. Yeah. And he's like 6'5" probably. He's
so tall.
He's really tall. Like he's skinny.
Or Frankenstein. They call him La Trappe.
I feel like you could have La Trappe.
Yeah, that's what I wrote down. Or I think it meant like rat or something, or like La Trappe.
Anyway, so he's got a weird name, and
La Rat.
The rat. And then the man's like, you got to go this way. So they're like, all right, we're gonna follow him.
You want to know the way out? Come this way.
Come on, guys. I used to play for the
you didn't even look
the 1956 Bulls. That's why I saw it.
Is that you?
Well, I thought you were dead.
It's what you said.
Nah.
You didn't even look for me. You didn't look for me. What's wrong with you? You didn't look for me. Oh, you didn't look
Sound
for
like
me.
a guy from Courage the Cowardly Dog or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who. I know exactly who.
Maybe
you
the
mean.
guy outside. Ooh, the scarecrow kind of guy.
Return the slab.
The slab?
The slab.
Return the slab of meat.
You're talking to the cartoon expert over here. I got a damn cartoon on my arm.
So they fart. They start following. They start following. They start following this guy
The
and
trap.
the trap. And they realize that he sounds like a rapper's name. Yo, do you La Trap's new track?
The trap.
You left me down here.
You didn't even look for me.
But that tone just
to
shows
go to
you
the
that
bathroom
just shows you that he's got like no soul. You know, if he's really a person, because imagine being down there and like all these questions start coming up to your head. So they're like, okay, so this guy's been down here for 3 years. How is he eating? Is he sane? Obviously not. And you're just like, what the hell's going on? And they're like, hey, sorry about that, bud. Thought you were dead.
Sorry we left you. But you're back now.
So you're thinking to yourself, you're like, well, Papillon sucks because he left somebody down there, which is crazy. I mean, we don't know the circumstances, but yeah, that's pretty shitty. So everybody starts following him.
I don't mean to jump ahead, but was that his thingy that he had to face?
Well, maybe. Yeah, but he doesn't.
He doesn't. It's his demise isn't.
Yeah, he doesn't live.
Unless maybe it was the girl's fault because her demise. Whatever his friend, that's the girl.
Yeah, because remember, Papillon dies by the car with his brother,
Yeah, okay.
so it's not his.
Okay.
Yeah, because he kills her.
Yeah.
So
maybe
the Sophie girl or Sosie.
Maybe it was her idea to be like, fuck it, leave him.
Yeah, so I guess she sucks. Leave him. He's
him.
bad in bed anyway. So they start following this guy, and he's like, the only way out is down. And we see like this large well that's going further down. And
if I was there and that guy said that to me, I'd be like, yeah, this guy's nuts.
yeah. Have you heard him talk? You see the goggles on his head?
Yeah, we're gonna go down. That
Why
makes
does he
sense.
need goggles?
That makes sense.
Oh,
Hey, what are you welding down here, buddy? Huh?
Maybe he has what are you welding? Or he has goggles to see underwater in there.
Maybe
Those don't look like goggles in the pool.
Walmart goggles.
Yeah, right. So Scarlet begins to like talk the like really technical terms about like why to go down. And she's just always convincing everybody to just like continue moving forward, like no matter the circumstances. It's so funny how it's like somebody's just so determined, like it doesn't matter. And I keep going back to National Treasure. It's just they just continue to go no matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when they literally go down into the church in the end of National Treasure. That's how they find the treasure. They just keep going. And
I haven't seen that movie in so long.
everybody's like, I ain't going. Nick Cage's like, well, I'm going. I have a damn Oscar. Where's your Oscar?
Also, I need to get paid for this role.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go down there.
Or I'm going to jail. Did you not hear Harvey Keitel? He's in that movie too.
I signed a damn contract.
So then they all begin to go down like firefighters.
Jay Baby, are you down, 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 down?
They go down on a rope, and of course Benji slips down the rope, so he's 0 for 2. And
he's the worst.
He is the worst.
My hands, my hands.
He's such a baby.
Oh my god. What a loser.
He's getting
Nerd.
he's getting fucked up. Scarlet seems to remain calm like a majority of the time, and he just
You just hear it too.
and
That was exactly it.
Is that Benji? Will you keep up? Jesus. As they walk, George slips into like water up to his knees on the ground, and then like all of a sudden like the sound becomes muffled and disordered.
Oh yeah.
Hold on. Before
strange.
that, wait. All of a sudden, some weird shit goes down. A little boy appeared out of nowhere.
Is it the boy underneath the water?
Yeah, but what about the girl when Benji's on the side? Maybe I wrote about that.
Oh, actually, yeah. Before Benji goes down, because he's the one filming. But
Yeah.
before he goes down, he's the last one to go down, and it's before he goes down on the rope.
Wait, is that when he died? Does Benji die?
No, I think because I remember him going, "Oh, my hands."
Oh, okay, yeah. So go ahead.
Before he like goes down, there's like a woman walking around behind him, and like,
Yeah.
and he just keeps going. Hello?
That was a cool part.
Is anyone here? Huh?
I hate it here.
And I was gonna assume that it was the lady from the club, but it's not. It's just another random.
Yeah, I
woman.
don't know where these people are coming from.
She actually looks like the witch that's in The Witch that drinks from the udders or whatever.
My hair about to be crazy.
What are you, a fucking owl?
Shut up.
And I guess maybe she pushes him.
Pushes him.
Pushes him.
Yeah, that's what we get. Rosh Hashanah.
Hello? Anyone there? Huh?
I'm here. Gang.
My hands.
My leg. And then, yeah, so that happens. And then George slips in the water. The sound becomes muffled. All of a sudden, some weird shit goes down. And there's a little boy that appears out of nowhere.
Boy.
And then they question.
Papillon question.
They question Papillon about why they're following that man. And then Papillon goes, he's changed. And you go, that's good.
Yeah,
you think? We're following this welder in the middle of the catacombs who's 6'10". And it's like, it's interesting how they, at this point, I'm like, it's really interesting how they film this. Because you're like, this is pretty good.
Yeah, I was thinking that the whole time. Like that. I don't know. They must have been like some crazy set or something.
Yeah, I don't know. Because like if you ever watch behind the scenes of Titanic, they're all like in this huge pool of just water. That's probably cold, and they have to pretend like it's cold. So maybe, I don't know, they're like this little alcove of water.
Maybe, though, they spent their whole budget on the set, and then that's why they made it a first-person film, so that they could save money on the camera. I wouldn't doubt it, right? Because, like...
Yeah, probably not. Because the whole the whole point of the movie is it's the point of view of somebody with a camcorder.
Yeah, but maybe like that wasn't the original plan, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Well, how are we going to save money?"
You think they're French?
Maybe they are.
They might be. Maybe
how
they
are
are.
we going to save money? I don't know. Maybe we just get a camcorder.
I doubt it.
Oh, okay, and then we get a Royale with cheese. Oh,
you're telling me Hollywood at the last thing they get is the camera after?
Well, because it's just like a horror movie because it didn't seem like a high budget movie. Right. It's not like they got Nicolas Cage as a vampire.
True. I don't know. I don't think so.
That's what I'm calling. I'm calling that they.
You're telling
spent all their money on the set, and then they were like, you know what? Why don't we make this a found footage? And they're like, and they're like, yo, bro, that's it. This guy's getting a raise. That's what they said.
$50
like the Taco Bell guy, the Doritos Locos Tacos. Did you see they have Takis tacos now?
Ugh.
Not at Taco Bell though.
Oh,
in
Saudi Arabia. Oh,
and Iran. With
I thought
Ariel's
you meant
dad.
that they didn't have enough money
Scarlett.
to spend on the camera.
Oh no!
That's why I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
I think like they legit were like setting it up, and they were like, oh, like damn, our budget's like kind of this and that. How can we make this a cool, scary movie but still save? So let's
that's where
spend
they
our
got
money.
that idea.
Let's save our money on the set. Let's put all our money on the set so it looks dope, and then we get just fucking head cameras and first-person point of view cameras.
No.
Yes.
I think they had the idea that
what was
it was
the guy's name? Wildco?
What?
The director or whatever. Wildco?
Dwindler?
Ariel? What's the girl's name? Giselle?
Scarlett. Stop with it. The director is John Eric Dowdle. Dowdle.
Dowdle, if you watch this, let me know if I'm right. Hey, Brendan. We get an email. Hey, Waste Sauce fam. How are you doing? Just wanted to get, clear up some things. Basically, yes, that is correct. We did want to save money, so we got a handheld camcorder. Toodles.
Okay, so then they find drawings on the walls, and then it's like a riddle, and that they have to follow exactly, or the ceiling will collapse and kill you. That's what Scarlett says. So we have to follow this riddle, or the ceiling will collapse and kill us. And they go, oh, okay.
Pull the rock out.
Yeah, and they go, oh, okay. Cool, Scarlett.
It's a man with the rock. It's cooking.
So they're talking it out, which seems to be a theme where they just they're like, before they go do something, they're like, and they talk it out. And then we see George and Scarlett's like intelligence in this scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty smart.
They are smart.
Yeah, they're dumb for going this far, but they're smart.
They are very smart.
In like figuring things out.
They're a good team together for sure.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, well, if the sun lands in the east and then sets in the west, but then it goes 6,000 miles per hour, then we could pull this rock.
And then the polar bears drink the Slurpees on the 4th of July.
Which means aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Pull
All
this
right,
rock.
pull it. After they mess with the rocks, after figuring it out, a rock moves out of place and opens up. And it's the first time someone's been down there in 500 years. Do you remember that?
Yeah. But it wasn't even longer?
No, they said 500.
Really?
Yeah. Either way, it's a long time.
I don't know. Long time.
That's how old I am.
I traveled back there yesterday.
That's just one day. So then they see this man lying on a rock, and he's got like a red cross on his cloak, and he's got a beard, and you like immediately can tell like, okay, this guy looks like he's from
medieval times.
Yeah, medieval times, like you see in a book in class or something. And
imagine you did find that would be unreal.
Looks like a guy from like the old Scottish army.
And he's so perfectly preserved too.
Yeah.
His skin's not rotted or anything.
But he's been there for 700 years. Maybe that's the way to preserve bodies. Put them in the catacombs.
Sam's figured it out.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was a doctor.
I wrote down, do they say why that guy's just there? It probably had to do with like some war or something. But one guy. All right, we need to put Fred down really far into the catacombs to preserve his body. He's a beautiful man.
Maybe it was just part of the ritual thing to find the Philosopher's Stone.
I don't know. This is again with the like random things in the movie just to make it creepy.
Yeah, I think maybe it's just the significance of like each time period that lines up with the Philosopher's Stone somehow. Because then the
further they go, the older it gets.
Maybe. Yeah. Because like the Philosopher's Stone doesn't have to do with Egyptian stuff.
I don't fucking know.
Because eventually you start seeing like Sphinx and like hieroglyphics.
Sphinx and hieroglyphics.
Hieroglyphics, fam. Don't you remember? Sphinx and hieroglyphics.
Is that anything else to add?
No, just Sphinx and hieroglyphics.
So Scarlet tells them to turn their lights off. Or do they have lights?
For some reason all their lights go off, or
she tells them to turn their lights off. She goes underwater.
She sees the water, and there's like glowing stuff coming from the water. She's like, turn it off,
turn that fucking light off,
turn it all off,
turn it off now.
Scariest shit would have been if that body just disappeared when they turned off the lights.
You know when the Undertaker comes up?
Yeah.
Oh my God, the Undertaker! He's not dead. She then goes underwater as the others are dreaming at her, screaming at her.
Oh, don't go,
don't go, and then you're. And then on the other side, bunch of gold, nice treasure. There's a fire down there somehow.
Treasure.
Do they say how the fire is like working, or it's like it's an eternal flame? It never goes off.
I think the Philosopher's Stone has something to do with it, or something.
Do you know that at JFK's tomb? Can't mention death. This guy cracks up. There's an eternal flame. I don't know how that works.
There's also one by the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in France.
What the fuck is that?
It's a Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
He's making that up.
He's unknown.
Who is he?
They don't know. They don't know to this day.
So then George goes down to save her.
I gotta go down there.
I gotta get her.
Because I love her.
Yeah, love her to death.
But I hate her.
And then he gets in there and he sees her looking at the treasure and she's crying. She's relieved. And then everybody goes down. Yeah.
Papillon's like, we are rich.
What's interesting is that like, so they see Scarlet go down, then they see George go down. Were they like, might as well? Or they didn't know that there was a treasure on the other side.
Because they can't go back. They might as well
there's
going
no other way to go.
Nowhere else to go.
Nowhere. As above, so below. So they all go down. Hooray! We found the treasure. That's right, Papillon, you did it.
But where is the Philosopher's Stone?
Yeah.
We see this treasure, but where is it?
I wonder if... Wait, so like... Oh, so then Scarlet yells at them and she's like, that's a trap!
Yeah, because she starts reading like the hieroglyphics or whatever that's on the wall, and then she can read that or something, and then she's like, like, oh, the gold is just to distract you from the actual treasure,
Which
is
I
the
think is a-
philosopher's stone up here, which looks like a dull rock, but then you take it down and it heals everybody.
So then, yeah, which is crazy. And then the walls start to collapse and people get hurt. And then Brendan tells us why Scarlet yelled, "It's a trap, plain sight."
I think in the hieroglyphics it says something about in plain sight or hidden in plain sight or something.
Right.
So like the philosopher's stone is right there,
Yeah.
but the distraction is the gold.
So does she figure out like this ain't it?
So she figures out that the gold is just a distraction because they as soon as they pull on the cage to go get it, she's like, "No, it's a trap!"
Right.
And then they pull on it because whoever made that tomb or whatever probably didn't want anyone to find the philosopher's stone.
Right. Which is a great part in the movie, just because it I don't know, maybe it like symbolizes greed or something like that.
100%.
Whereas just up until this point, you're just like I feel like you're out of breath, like following these people and all this stuff. You're like, what the hell is going on? And then you the movie kind of like calms down because you're like, oh, the treasure. What?
It's like bass going on everywhere.
Well, they get fucking in the other room.
Yeah, but that was coming from that way.
Well, that's a ghost. We just know that.
We
At
got
this
ghosts
point.
here.
And then it's just like a cool part where you kind of think about like you relate it to life or something like that, where you just immediately go after the treasure and you're like, wait a minute, it's a trap.
Yeah.
Like don't immediately go after the jewels
It's a good metaphor for our time period too, because going with like social media, people will like portray that they're like the gold, right? Where it's like all amazing and stuff, but meanwhile the actual treasure is over here to the left. Symbolizing people like posting that their lives are perfect and things like that, but meanwhile like the ultimate goal is actually over here.
Right.
Happiness and eternal life,
a good family, good family,
and things like that. So
right.
Even though it's dull, it's the most powerful thing in there, and instead Papillon and them just are like, we need that.
There's a George Harrison documentary. You know what that is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The title is Living in the Material World, because George Harrison was so not, and this is 1960 something, so like they didn't even have much material.
Yeah.
But still, he was like so against it because he went to India with the Maharishi and he went to Rishikesh. And he was just so spiritual, but he's a Beatle, and he's like the biggest fame in the world, and he didn't like that. So it's just, I don't know, remind me, it's just the title is, it's actually directed by Scorsese. It's a really good documentary, Living in the Material World. So it's just,
Well, that's like...
that Scarlet she doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
She doesn't care about the materials. She is like, she is selfish in a way. So, I mean, and she is kind of young too. You think she's like in her 20s or early 30s or something. So she has a lot of learning to do. And this is definitely a big learning lesson.
Oh, yeah.
You want to learn a lesson? Go to the catacombs. And then, but she's just like, immediately when she's there, she sees the treasure. She's like, yeah, it's great. Is that the Philosopher's Stone? That's a trap.
Yeah. That's like Nirvana too. Like they never really wanted to be famous. And then
Well, they're compared a lot to the Beatles.
Yeah. Cause,
Just their fame.
Yeah, because they did love the music, and then Kurt was like, I can't handle this.
Do you know that, I think it was Dave Grohl who said in an interview, he was like, we would do one take, and Kurt would be like, that's it. I don't want to do any more. We're going to do it we're going to put it out how we played it, which is crazy. But Kurt. Well, there's also that interview with Kurt's mom where she says the second she played It Smells Like Teen Spirit, she's like, well, that's not good. Because they were like, and I think even his stepdad was like, who didn't even want to like listen to it or something like that. He's like, no, this is really good.
Yeah.
And she was just like, this is not good. She was like, it's good because the song is so good, but she knew that you guys, I don't know if you can handle this because it's so good that it's going to be.
She probably knew deep down.
That's a mother right there, though.
Oh, yeah.
Just knowing that she's probably. But she didn't say to him, I don't know. I feel like that's another discussion because she could have said to him, don't do it. But you got to let your son.
Oh, yeah. Learn.
Yeah.
Live and learn. Sometimes.
Some mothers would be like, nope, you can't do it. Let's see. So then, what's her Susie or Suxi?
Suxi? Yeah.
Something like that is her name. She's bloody as hell.
Oh.
And the stone heals her. So like Scarlet takes the stone and like touches her body.
She gets pinned under the rock.
Yeah. So she's bloody as hell, and the stone heals her really quickly. It's basically like magic. So again, just like all this supernatural shit happening in there.
How did you do that?
Yeah, I want this stone. Let me see that.
That's because you guys were going after the gold. I went for the real treasures.
Yeah, get out of here. Damn.
Now I got God powers.
You fear me? Yeah, you fear God. So then Scarlet finds this symbol that is the title of the movie. So, as I believe the world to be, so it is.
Oh yeah.
Which is, I don't know why I love the title of the movie, As Above, So Below.
That's
I don't.
just that saying is.
It's
sick.
just so cool.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Ghost main title. What is he? He probably saw the movie, or it's just like I think a saying: "As above, so look out below."
Oh wow.
That's a Ghost main
cool.
song.
It's funny though. Way back, I was looking this up. As above, so below was taking very literal. So back, hundreds of years, they thought that whatever was happening in heaven was going to happen on earth. So that's why they said as above, so below. So for example, if the crops were not doing well, that must mean that the gods are angry. So it was as above, so below. But now I believe these days we interpret it as, as your like mind or whatever, chakras or whatever the heck you want to talk about.
Your mind is the top.
Yeah, and then you like kind of, see the world for how it is and kind of make it that way. But it's funny, it was taken more literal, like way back.
Right, and maybe that's when they wrote it was back then.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
you could compare it to the witch. The dad in the witch is like, oh, this is happening because God or whatever.
Yeah,
and you're just like,
yeah,
well,
exactly.
maybe not.
Yeah,
Where
you can control a lot of these things. You're just interpreting.
he's one way and nothing else.
And he's putting out the worst kind of
Energy.
energy, which is then giving his life, which is terrible.
Right.
As above, so below.
Yeah,
which will happen to your life.
It's really cool.
It is a good saying.
So whatever was built above is also below, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
In this scenario in the movie, so then Scarlet finds a way out through the bottom, which like doesn't make any sense. It's pretty hard to follow.
Yeah. She she steps on the floor or something, or like
yeah,
and then all the water like goes into.
And you're like, okay.
And then they're like, well, it looks like we're going down another deep hole.
At this point in the movie, you're just like, yeah, sure, that's weird.
Can't go the other way.
Well, just any weird stuff is like, so you had a phone ringing, you had the piano, you had the little boy in the water,
Yeah.
You got the cult in the beginning. It's just a lot of weird stuff, and it's supernatural. Well, you also like there are parts where you don't know if it's real or not. Like, probably not, but maybe there was a piano down there.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt it, but it has the same key as this. So a lot of it is symbolizing what is with our characters.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if like other people that have gone down there see different stuff.
Yeah, I'm
probably.
Sure. Oh yeah, I'm sure because
like if you made a second movie,
yeah,
and it was like 6 other characters, and then it's just
they would see different things because whatever they have stored in their mind from traumatic experiences is different from or the characters we're following here, and then that's why they got to move down because what they're thinking in their mind they have to deal with when they get into this next level, as above, so below. They go to the below part, which is like basically like hell or what's before hell or before
purgatory.
Heaven? Purgatory. It's almost like a trial. Like, can you deal with what you've experienced in the past? Or like,
new game show. Can you deal with your trauma?
As above, so below.
Our
welcome.
location, the catacombs.
The catacombs.
You know what would be the ultimate therapy? Instead of talking it out, go to the catacombs. Figure out your trauma. You come out. All right, so I knew what was holding me back. All right, I'm good now.
I'm sure that's like.
I mean, if there was a perfect way of doing it in the most traumatic way.
If there's a heaven, that's gotta be purgatory. I mean, you probably go up, and it's like, okay, so listen, we'll let you in, but like you gotta first deal with these.
You didn't kill
things.
anybody. You didn't rob a bank.
You were pretty good, but
you're all right.
You did a couple of these things. So we're gonna send you back to that, and we're gonna make you feel whatever you felt, but times 10, and you're gonna deal with it.
All right, Peter, and go. Zhink. That honestly, I like it's an interesting way to think about it. Yeah, that's the ultimate therapy is go to the catacombs. Well, it's because like you might not really know what's like your trauma or holding you back. Like in Smile, maybe like in her subconscious, she knew that it was. I mean, it's the whole movie is you're pushing away trauma. Like maybe. Like George, it wasn't really at the forefront of his mind.
Yeah,
which was there. Like we might not know. I don't know if we were to go down there.
Yeah,
there could be something to be like, oh shit, it's this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, big time. Because life happens. You forget about like something major that happened to you years ago.
Oh
and
yeah.
Then, maybe you remember it here and there, but you're not really like totally
day to day thinking
like,
about
every day, like working on it. Because life takes over.
I feel like maybe that's why it's called the Philosopher's Stone because this is a lot. Well, not. Well, there's a lot of psychology aspect to it. Like if you're a psychologist, you watch this movie, you probably like uncover a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like a lot of horror movies in general. I mean, we talk about a lot of psychology
Yeah.
in this with just like trauma and therapy in the brain and moving forward and not holding on to things in the past.
Yeah.
A lot of psychology to this.
Because the past comes to haunt you.
That song's gonna be in my head all day.
I have a couple ghostly experiences. I think I've debunked them all, but like you never know. One is I have a picture when I went on a ghost tour in San Diego in one of the top 10 most haunted houses in America.
Were you telling me this Thursday night?
Maybe
With Molly?
Maybe. I
think you were.
I have a picture of a there's a little girl that died, and in the backyard she came.
Where is the picture on your camera?
It's like a legit picture. Like
Oh, you gotta show me this.
It's back at in Farmingdale, Stratford Green, Mom's house. But they told us a story about this little girl who was running down a hill, and then the clothing line got caught around her neck, and then she choked to death. And then I took a picture just randomly outside, and then there's like this shadow that you take your finger, and it literally looks like a little girl like this tall, with like and the shadow goes out like this, so it looks like a dress kind of, and you could see like a head and stuff. I swear to God.
Jeez. Oh, I believe you. Yeah.
And then there's a couple other ghostly encounters, but that's like the one where I remember I was like, "Yo, Mom, look at this. This is crazy."
How do you explain this one? So then they find a sign that George translates to "Abandon all hope, ye who enter," which is a sign before you enter the gates of hell.
Nice.
Brendan, you said, "I wonder if these are real quotes in Scripture." Very fascinating.
I feel like it could be. Also, what I was thinking too is, what does it say above the gates of
Auschwitz.
Auschwitz? What does that say? No, literally.
No,
yeah.
My search history, Auschwitz sign. Arbeit macht frei, which means work sets you free. Ugh.
Ooh. Was that it?
Or work makes one
okay.
free. The slogan appearing on the entrance of Auschwitz and other Nazi concentration camps. Work sets you free. Oof. That's dark.
That one was over Auschwitz?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So then they find the same symbols, but they're upside down. So Scarlett is constantly thinking and never loses hope. She's just like...
The symbol they saw up.
They're upside down.
Yeah, okay. The triangle thing.
But she's just like constantly like, well, maybe this means this. Because like... And she's just the one that's just like... I don't know if she's like freaking out inside. I mean, they probably all are. They're probably all scared and sweating and, having like constant panic attacks. But she's just like, okay, this is how... She's like a problem solver, which is... She has a lot of good qualities about her.
Yeah.
At this point, there seems to be no way out. I mean, the walls have no openings. And then they all go into the water, and then we hear like these weird sounds, and then they make it out of the water after.
Oh, yeah. It seemed like it almost took like longer to get out of the water or something.
Which was... I mean, if you're somebody who's like claustrophobic or afraid of being in the water again, or drowning.
That's the same way I felt when Benji gets stuck in the thing. I was like, all right, get out of the water.
Yeah,
get out.
Right, enough. We're done here.
Don't drown. Come on, hurry up.
And then we see the old dead man on the bench, but he's wearing different clothing. Not bench, on the what would you call that? Like something like this, just like a flat, long table.
The trap?
The Scottish guy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But
so we see
now
him, but
he's
wearing
skeleton, though, right?
Well, he's wearing different clothes.
Yeah, and he's more deteriorated, I'm pretty sure.
Right, yeah, he's like way older. It's like it's like if you left him out.
You left him out in the sun.
You leave Frank out there?
You left him out of the fridge.
So he looks more older, and he's wearing different clothes. What would you call like a long thing like that? But he's tall, the guy. Like I don't know, like where you dissect things on a just like a long table or something like that.
Oh,
I feel
like a slab, or it almost looks like where they would sacrifice people, or on like a,
or where they would do like and it's like a surgical table or something like that. Anyway,
but it's just stone.
Yeah, and then we see the creepy friend of the others slummed in the corner, not looking up or speaking.
Yeah, that part's creepy.
It's fucking weird.
It was weird because now he seems like, before they were like, he's changed. Now he's really changed.
Hell, he's changed, and he's just like not moving. And then like
I feel like he's like twitching kind of or something too.
They start like yelling at, or they start being like, "What's up?"
You okay, buddy?
Le Trap. What's going on?
Hello?
You in there?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. So then all of a sudden, Suxi absolutely gets demolished by Le Trap.
Literally like Bill Skarsgård. Just
I was thinking the same thing. Just absolutely murdered. And Le Trap, he vanishes, and everybody's just crying and freaking out.
Yeah.
So this is a pretty violent, gruesome part of the movie. Of course, your boy Sam, turn the other way.
it is pretty aggressive for sure.
Because all of a sudden, and I've seen this movie like 2 or 3 times, and all of a sudden, you just like, you could tell like something's gonna happen. So if you're gonna watch this movie and that's the part, maybe you look away, or you're like Brendan. Yeah, get her,
Give it to me. Yeah.
slaughter her.
Do it.
Yeah, she gets absolutely killed into pieces.
Of course, Papillon is like, use this philosopher's stone. But it don't work.
She did.
Because they inhale now. They're in the opposite.
Yeah, that's why that
stone
doesn't
work.
Well,
Well, now is their judgment. So they have to go through what their trauma is.
but why do some of them die?
They still kept pushing it down, maybe. They just still didn't want to deal with it.
Whereas the other characters were kind of dealing with it. Because George mentions his brother a bit.
George does mention it, and he keeps seeing, and he sees his brother eventually. What's her name? Priscilla?
What?
What's her name?
Scarlet.
Scarlet.
Jesus Christ.
I'm so bad with names.
Yeah, the last movie called Ephraim.
Close enough. At least it's
Yeah.
not Scar. What is it?
Priscilla.
Priscilla.
Instead of Scarlet.
And she's like trying to do something about her dad, kind of, and she does acknowledge him throughout the movie, so it's not like he's
'Cause we see her in-
pushing it down.
He's
But
there
like,
in Iran.
but like Papillon and them seem to like not even give a fuck about La Trappe, and
Oh, yeah, that's the guy we left here.
and they also perhaps maybe got that other guy killed that was sitting on the rock that told them to go meet Papillon.
Right. So we assume that that's her, Susie's, or that's her, that was her, she left him
Maybe
there.
yeah, she was.
Or it was like her, it was her idea.
yeah,
Fuck him. Let's
yeah,
go.
Yeah, let's just fucking go.
He's a weirdo. 6'5",
Yeah.
goggle looking ass.
I mean, I don't know how else she should have gone about like approaching him and being like, "Hey, I'm so sorry" or something. Maybe he wouldn't have killed her.
So Scarlet says we got to keep moving, which is like pretty quickly after her death. Well, actually, going back to the Philosopher's Stone, when he's like, use the Philosopher's Stone, maybe it doesn't work on dead people. It doesn't reverse death. Because when she does it to, what's his name, she just like, is Benji dead at this point?
No, he's still with them.
He's still with them?
I'm pretty sure.
But when she uses it, it's just to heal something.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not, I mean, it's probably your theory where it's like, they're in hell and this is their judgment. But,
Because towards the end, she is able to use it because she goes back and she's like, whatever you put out into the, or however you think the world is, it shall be, or whatever the saying is.
however you see the world is how it's going to be.
And then so she
Or
does
whatever.
that, and then all of a sudden it starts to work again, even with just healing.
Right.
Um,
It's just interesting to me, like who, I guess, God or whoever is like picking who lives and who dies in this scenario based on how much they deal with their trauma. It's interesting to me.
or even
Or it-
well, we could say too that like Papillon's isn't really a trauma; it's perhaps just being selfish. Like they don't have trauma to deal with; they were just being selfish by.
Well, so is
leaving.
Scarlet.
But no, but like their actual thing that they go into hell.
Oh.
Like so, it's not a trauma.
Oh, I know what you mean.
That
Yeah.
like that they left La Trappe. Like for La Trappe, it's a trauma. and,
Yeah.
and they don't know how he felt when they left.
They deliberately left him.
Yeah.
Scarlet didn't kill her dad. George didn't kill his brother.
That's true. Yeah.
right. So
Yeah.
that's probably why. How does
Whereas-
his brother die? He drowned.
Drowned.
Yeah.
And he I think he went to go get help or something, or said
They
something.
so they tried.
Yeah.
But
But it haunts them still.
the
Whereas-
last guy too, where it was like his
Yeah.
he never saw his daughter or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So okay, so I do get that. It's like they're kind of more pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Papillon and
Yeah.
I don't know what Benji's was.
How does he die?
He's just bad at the cameraman. I don't remember. It'll probably be in the notes. But if we don't, we'll figure it out. So Scarlett's like, let's keep moving forward, which is like really quickly after her death. Which I get, they have to move forward, but it's not like there's like a time clock. We got 10 more minutes.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
I
which
guess
is
though
weird.
they are kind of like, all right, can we get the fuck out of here?
Yeah, they probably just want to get out of there. But she's all about moving forward.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, all right, that sucked, but we got to move forward. Like, she's dead, which is like, it also symbolizes her, like, she's more logical, less emotional.
Yeah.
But she does start to cry and like get things. But like even during that point, I'm like, damn, like give it a sec. She just died. Like this is her friend.
Yeah, that's true.
So then they realize how much deeper they're going, and they're like going about 1,000 feet down. Okay. So we got this wrong. So we see them. They got to go really far down. We see Benji on the rope, and in the distance, a lady walks by. So this is when that
that's
happens.
when he sees.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he asks if something's there, like you said, like is somebody there? Is somebody there?
Oh, okay.
And then we see a lady jump at him, and we assume that she throws him down.
Yeah, and then he dies.
Yes, he dies.
Because that time
this is when Scarlett's really upset because this is her friend.
Yeah, because that time he just splats.
Yeah.
Instead of like, oh my hands.
Right. So this is like I feel like I immediately thought of Hereditary. Remember when Annie cuts her head off with the rope, but we don't see it, we hear it.
Yeah.
This is another part of a horror movie where we kind of maybe it's similar to it where maybe this might not make sense, but we assume that the lady pushed him down, but we didn't actually see it happen.
Yeah.
So it's a part like in Hereditary where your mind is thinking like, oh my God, like when we hear the sound of her head falling, you're like, oh, that was her head falling. But we're also not totally sure.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But it's not shown to us because if it was shown to us, it wouldn't be as scary.
Yeah, because our imagination gets to run wild.
Exactly.
Which makes it honestly maybe even worse.
That's what. Yeah, that's why they don't show it because it's more scarier. So maybe they're like, oh my God, that lady just pushed him, or did she? Or he's just clumsy and fell because that could also be a possibility too. So yeah, Benji's dead, and Scarlett's really upset. This time, probably because it's her friend. She doesn't really know Susie, which is another thing where I'm thinking like she's a little more selfish. So she isn't too keen on moving forward right away.
Yeah.
And this is this is pretty much back-to-back scenes. So that was just a point that I thought was interesting. So as they move forward, George sees his younger brother drowning. So at this point of the movie, it's just like you're literally going down and you're emotionally going down. Yeah. Just where you're just like all hell is breaking loose.
Throwing everything at you. Like, deal with it, deal with it.
Here you go, audience. This is how most of the movies that we cover is just like the horror movies. There's just one point where it just, in Hereditary, in Smile, in The Lighthouse, you're just like all hell breaks loose.
And
legit hell.
It is kind of like the human experience, though, too. Like once you maybe are able to acknowledge it, like it does come at you full force. Whether it be trauma or like an actual ghost or whatever the heck it is. But usually it's like a metaphor for something else, like trauma. Like once you acknowledge it, it does come full force. And that can be with like either just not in a movie sense, but in the actual human experience, you might get depressed, anxious, everything, it just comes at you. Mm-hmm. It's coming at you, feeding it in a metaphoric way. It's more, and in horror movies, it's like, all right, we're going to throw ghosts at them. We're going to throw this at them. We're going to,
but it symbolizes other things.
Yeah. Which is like your anxieties, your depression, everything coming at you at once. And it's just like, but then once you deal with it, and if you're able to deal with it, you come out the other side.
Better, probably.
Better and, maybe healed.
You would almost rather that.
Yeah.
Like, would you rather be shot or, burned alive? You're like, whatever's quicker. Yeah. Like, throw this all at me once so I could just like, if I know it's going to happen, rather than have to deal with it in different time lapses or whatever it is. So, like, if you lose somebody in your life, like, never mind. Never mind. So then like George sees his brother drowning and he's like, he begins to flip out, but Scarlett screams at him to stop saying that she's like, it's not real. It's not real. And he's like going after, he's like, I gotta go after my brother. And where you're as an audience member, you're like, no, idiot. He's obviously not there. But of course he sees his brother and he has to go, even though he knows in his mind that his brother's already dead.
Yeah.
But all, they're just emotion takes over. They're in the catacombs. Like, of course he's going to go
Been
for
in
it.
there for who even knows how long now? at
This is
point.
another movie like The Lighthouse. You don't know what time, like how
Yeah.
the time is in the movie. Like time is not a factor.
They come out when it's dark, but they went in when it was daytime.
Yeah.
But
So it
that
could be the same day. Could
or
be.
it could be a couple of days.
You have no idea. Yeah, which is like even more frightening.
And does time flip around when you go?
Yeah, because the whole thing is just like it's weird.
Maybe they went back in time. Who knows?
Well, technically they did when they saw the. I mean, you could think about it when they saw the soldier or whatever the hell that was. I mean, he's 700 years old,
Yeah.
but he's not really. He would be if you saw a body 700 years ago or 700 years old, it's a skeleton.
Mhm.
All the flesh
Yeah.
is gone. Maybe it preserves it down there.